Today we're in central London and we're here to take a look at some incredible then and now photos taken during the Blitz in World War II. A lot of people of my generation have grandparents who fought in World War II. A lot of us also have grandparents who maybe were slightly too young for that, but still lived through the war as children. And inevitably when they talk about the war, one of the things they will always talk about is the German bombing of Britain. I remember my wife's grandmother telling me the stories how they could hear the planes coming over, and later in the war the awful whirring sound of the doodlebug bombs as they flew over, often headed towards London. The Blitz was the German bombing campaign of Britain in 1940 and 1941. By September 1940, the Luftwaffe had largely lost the Battle of Britain, and Commander-in-Chief of the Luftwaffe, Hermann Goering, ordered a new strategy of some systematic bombing of London. From the 7th of September onwards, 56 out of the following 57 days would see German bombers dropping bombs here on London. So today what I thought we would do is take a wander. We're going to explore my home city of London, and we're going to take a look at some of the places where those bombs landed and some of the places where the damage was photographed. We've got some incredible then and now photos that we're going to take a look at around various sites in London today. I think it's going to be an interesting one. We're going to head over for our first photo, which actually coincides with the first day of the Blitz, a photo that was taken on the 8th of September 1940. But for that, we need to head further down the river towards London Bridge. So that extended campaign, the 56 nights of bombing, began in earnest on the 7th of September. And on the morning of the 8th of September, if you were stood right here on London Bridge, you would have had a horrifying view in this direction. And that's why we've come here to look at the first photo of the video. The first morning of the official Blitz, 8th of September 1940, there was a photo taken from White Rum stood looking in this direction. So look, here we are on London Bridge and we are looking towards Tower Bridge. Tower Bridge in the distance there, often mistakenly called London Bridge, but that is Tower Bridge. I am stood just here on London Bridge. So looking towards Tower Bridge, we're looking towards East London. And beyond the bridge there, we have, in World War II especially, huge areas of docks, the Surrey docks, and heading out towards East London docks out in that direction. Just to the left of the bridge you can see the Tower of London, you can see the spires of it just about peeking up. And in this direction is where the first photo was taken. So the first morning of that extended campaign that we talked about earlier on the 8th of September 1940. If you were stood here looking in that direction, this is the view that you would have had. You can see just tons and tons of smoke rising up from the Surrey docks, which had suffered from a direct hit from German bombs on the 8th of September 1940. This is the view that you would have had in 1940, and this is the view today. Okay, the wind is really picking up here, so we're going to take the chance to get out of here and we're going to head to another famous bridge. We're going down towards Westminster Bridge, just by St Thomas's Hospital. Okay, so for our second photo, we have come to this spot right here. I'm just by Westminster Bridge. You can see Westminster and Big Ben in the background, and this building behind me here is St Thomas's Hospital. Well, the next day after the first photo was taken, on the 8th of September 1940, there was bombing damage here on the building behind us at St Thomas's, and there was a photo taken from just about, I think probably just about the middle here or just the other side of the road, looking in this direction. And we've got that photo here with us. You won't be able to see it so well on here. You can kind of make out Big Ben. Obviously I'm going to put it into the video so you can see it a little bit better. But the 8th of September 1940, some pretty devastating damage right here by St Thomas's Hospital, just near Westminster Bridge in the centre of London. So I think the actual photograph itself was taken from a little bit further over here behind me, and I'm going to go over there and do some B-roll and stuff for you guys so you can see where that comes from. But this building just here is St Thomas's Hospital, and we're looking across Westminster Bridge there towards Big Ben, and you can see this is the photograph. So you can see the building damage on the left there, looking down towards Big Ben. So on the 8th of September 1940, some pretty substantial damage here by St Thomas's Hospital. So there you go. As you can probably hear, it is pretty blustery in central London today, so we're going to head off and try to find our next spot. So we've come a little bit further north. We're kind of in between sort of King's Cross and Camden Town, just by Mornington Crescent underground station, I think is the one. So there's a photo just behind me that was taken here, which is probably one of the most famous photos. If you go on Google and you search Blitz, you'll get the photo of like the milkman walking through the rubble, although that was a mocked up photo. Then you'll quite often see this photo here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So on the 9th of September 1940, there was a photo taken in this spot just here, and it is absolutely fitting that there are two London buses just coming past me as I'm talking here. And that's because the damage that was caused here resulted in this photo. A photo of a London bus that has been lifted and crashed into the building. Now that building is the building just kind of here. There's obviously been some redevelopment and stuff in between, so it looks a little bit different. But that's where we are on this spot here, 9th of September 1940. Probably one of the more famous Blitz damage photos from London. Okay, 9th of September, that photo was taken just here in 1940. Just a few days later, there was a photo taken at one of the most famous spots in London. We're going there next, to Buckingham Palace. So for our next photo that we're going to take a look at, we have come right here. Anyone who knows London at all might recognise where I am. This is Buckingham Palace. Now at this stage we're still in the earlier part of September 1940. Now Friday the 13th is known as being unlucky for a lot of people, and for the royal family in Buckingham Palace it was no exception, because we're here to talk about Friday the 13th of September 1940. When a German bomb landed outside the palace here, and we've got the then and now photo from that occasion. Prior to that though, there was another bomb that landed here on the 8th of September. It landed in the grounds of the palace, a 50-kilogram bomb. But it didn't explode, and in fact it was detonated later on in a controlled explosion. But on the morning of Friday the 13th of September, there was another bomb that landed here just by the gates of the palace that did explode. On the morning of the 13th of September, King George VI and Queen Elizabeth were having their morning tea when there was some loud crash and bang outside, and the Germans had dropped 5 high explosive bombs just near here at the palace. It damaged some area of gating and some fence. Unfortunately, 4 members of the palace staff were injured during that bombing, and one of them passed away, was killed by the bombing here. But we've got a photo of the crater that it left just outside the palace here by the fence. We can go over there and have a bit of a closer look. We're just going to have a look at the photo here first though, because it is really busy over there, so I'm going to show you a look at it here first, and then we will go over that way. So not surprisingly, Buckingham Palace is very, very busy. Might have made the mistake coming here during the school holidays, but it's busy here any time of the year, so it doesn't matter. But the photo that we've got, I believe, was taken over at those gates in the centre of the picture now, and you can see that kind of by the background. So here's the photo that we've got, and you can kind of see where just off the left of the picture there is the gates, as in the left of the photo I'm holding is the gates that I'm talking about, which I believe are in the photo. So I think the photo will line up over there. I'm going to get closer to do the actual kind of then and now for you. So that was Buckingham Palace, and from here we're going to head a little bit further down the road to our next photo spot. Okay, so now we've just come a little further north. We are just on Euston Road by St Pancras International Station and King's Cross Station. And we're here to have a look at a photo that was taken on the 19th of September 1940. There was some bombs landed in this area just here, and there was some fairly substantial damage. Now, the view we're going to get looks quite different today, largely because in the photograph there is a destroyed building which changes the view compared to what it would have been back then and what it is today. But let's go have a look. So this photo is a bit different because the view has changed quite drastically. What you can still see is the spire over in the top, and if I put the photo in now, you can see what I mean about the spire. Now, of course, back then we wouldn't have been able to see that either, because that building that has been destroyed would have been in the way, so it wouldn't have looked that dissimilar from this. But today it looks quite different. But what I'm going to do is go back to the other side of the road where I was just now, so we can kind of show a bit of a better perspective. So you can see what I mean when we're back on this side of the road. The building here is the one, or at least the replacement of the building that was destroyed back in the photo, and you get a better view of the spire from this side of the road. But the photo was taken back over where we were stood before, so I wanted to go over there to get the authentic shot. Okay, so from here we're actually going back a little further south, back towards Buckingham Palace where we were before. We are going to Pall Mall. Let's go. Okay, so for our next photo, we've actually jumped to about a month later, because on the 14th of October 1940 is when the next picture was taken here, and we've just come down to Pall Mall. We're kind of a little bit sort of east of where Buckingham Palace is, a little bit sort of north of Westminster, to give you an idea of whereabouts we are if you don't know London. We're on Pall Mall, and right here behind me is where the next photo was taken. There was a bomb landed in this area and did some damage, including damage to a car, which was photographed right here on this road behind me. So right here in the middle of Pall Mall is where that blown out car was sat. Now, you can tell when you look at this area here, if you look at this building and this archway here, that's the piece that is going to kind of directly compare. If you look at the photo, you can see just to the back left of the car, that same archway and same building is there, and that's how we know that this is the same spot. Now, from here on Pall Mall, we're going to move further east in London to an area known as Bank. Specifically, we're going to go to the Bank Underground station, and we're going to be jumping forwards to early 1941. Right, let's head over east. So for our next then and now photo, we've come to a spot which is fairly familiar. It's kind of probably midway somewhere on the tourist spots in London to come and see. We're at Bank. We're just by Bank Underground station. And there is a photo taken here which is really interesting. And this one has a little bit more of a story with it as well. So in early 1941, on the 12th of January, a German bomb landed just here in front of us, and just on the ground, or under the ground below us, is where Bank Underground station is. And that bomb was a direct hit on the Bank Underground station. And if I bring the photo in here, you can see the damage that it caused just in front of us in this space here, with the building in the background looking fairly familiar. So in the photo there you can see the extensive damage, and in fact this bomb was a bad one. There were at least 50 people killed in the bombing just here at Bank Underground Station. Something else interesting here is in the photo there you can see the big Dig for Victory sign across the front of the building. Well, Dig for Victory was a campaign, an initiative launched in 1940 to try to promote Britain's self-sufficiency. People were encouraged to dig their gardens, dig their flower beds, plant fruits and vegetables to try to make the country as sustainable as possible when during the wartime imports were much more difficult to come by. And that was the Dig for Victory campaign, and one of the many advertisements for that was right here on the building behind me. Okay, so from here we are moving to one of the spots that makes me nervous. We got a few people around watching me film here, but we are going to one of the busiest spots in central London. We are headed down for a site that featured later in 1941. We're going to Leicester Square. Let's go. Okay, so this is not my style. I'm filming in front of hundreds of people, but we have come to Leicester Square. This is one of the key tourist spots in London, so it is absolutely heaving with people. But during the Blitz, there was bomb damage here in the centre of Leicester Square, and we're going to go take a look at a then and now photo that was photographed right here. So on the 3rd of May 1941, there was some bomb damage right here in Leicester Square, and there was a photograph of that damage that was taken just next to where I'm standing now. Okay, so we've just come down into the centre of Leicester Square now, and to give you some kind of guidance, anyone who knows London, this is the giant Odeon. This is where they do all the big premieres, and you see all the red carpet out front, stuff like that. We're in the centre of Leicester Square, so a big tourist spot in London. But right here ahead of us, you can see the Burger King, and just beyond that, you can see the View Cinema. Well, here in Leicester Square, there is a then and now photo that was taken, and if I hold it up here, you can see the damage where there was bomb damage and the floor and the building's all torn up, and that's where we are today. Okay, from here we're going to head slightly further towards the river on another well-known spot in London called the Strand. Lots of you guys would have heard of that, and that's where we're going now to see a spot where another bomb landed in May 1941. So we've just moved down to the Strand. Anyone who knows this area, that is the Strand behind me. The Savoy's just down there, and the bridge across towards sort of Waterloo area is there. But this here behind me is the spot that we have come to take a look at for a photo that we believe was taken around the 10th of May 1941. So here's the spot where this next photo was taken. Now, my research suggests that this photo was taken around about the 10th of May 1941, but I haven't been able to confirm that 100%. But this is the area where the photo was taken. Now, this area has changed a little bit. This is a pedestrian area now. It's not like a through road for buses or trams like it used to be. But this is the photo. You can see in the background, and if I put the photo in, there you go. So you can see right here in front of us is where the bomb crater, the bomb damage was, and that was taken right here. So here we are back where we started to round off this video. By early 1941, the German High Command had started to turn their attention towards the Soviet Union, and they were in the depths of their planning for Operation Barbarossa, which was going to be their invasion of the Soviet Union. In May 1941, Hitler pretty much turned his attention towards the Soviet Union. The bombings here in Britain had failed to demoralise the British people, and 8 months of bombing had had very little effect on British war production, which had in fact increased in that time. At that point, May 1941, with Hitler fully turning his attention towards the Soviet Union, the Blitz came to an end. Now, that doesn't mean that the British people got off lightly. In fact, the Blitz caused more than 40,000 British citizens to be killed, with another 139,000 injured. Of course, on top of that, there was millions of pounds worth of damage to buildings and infrastructure in London, but also in other parts of the country as well. Now, I hope you guys found this video interesting today, taking a look around London and taking a look at some then and now photos. I thought it'd be something a bit different. I've seen loads of then and now photos or videos done around Normandy and some of other World War II sites, but I thought, you know what about doing some right here in London and taking a look at some of the then and now photos from the Blitz. I hope you guys found it interesting. If you did, do me a favour, do all that usual YouTube stuff for me that I'm putting right here on the screen. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do that in several ways. I'm very lucky to have a couple of Patreons now who I'm going to be putting here on the screen to say thank you. Several of you guys have bought me a coffee, which I really appreciate as well. Those are ways that you can help me to get out and about, pay for my train tickets to get into London, stuff like that, so I can carry on making videos. Any support you guys do give me goes straight back into the channel, and I really do appreciate it. In the meantime, guys, thanks very much for watching the video, and I will see you on the next one.